Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about fitness and more specifically all about my running journey because I know how overwhelming it can be sometimes, specifically when it comes to running shoes. If you like sports or want to start your running journey or maybe set yourself up for a goal, I'm sure this will be helpful. And also make sure to subscribe. That would mean the world to me, especially because I'm getting started with my YouTube channel. And I'm also going to make another video where I share how to start running and all the things that I learned along the way, like fueling, hydration, gear, endurance, and so many other things that I could talk on and on about. I brought with me my entire shoe collection, some that I use more than others because I clearly have favorites, so I thought I would share with you the shoes that have been with me through my journey. I briefly want to mention about my backstory with fitness since I think that's very important, specifically because we tend to compare ourselves with others that have been playing sports their entire life, which is my case. I think it's worth mentioning that I'm a triplet, so I grew up playing lots of different sports with my siblings. I'm also one of those kids that played sports after school. I think I started with gymnastics when I was quite small and I was very flexible. I'm not at all now. Then I switched over to tennis because my brother would play it and I ended up playing for 6-7 years up until I switched to football, where I played for 2 years. It was indoor football and then it was 1 year, I believe, big football in the US when I was living there. Then I came back and that's when I signed myself up for the gym. And also before that, it's when COVID hit, so 2021 approx, I was doing a lot of HIIT workouts at home and I realized that I was losing quite some weight, but I was not really getting strong in a way. That's why I decided to sign myself up for the gym and I was just doing random classes there. During those years and also growing up, I hated running deeply, and I remember how my mom would sign myself up for different races, specifically the one for breast cancer that we have in Barcelona, which is La Cursa de la Dona, and it is a 5 to 7 or 8 kilometer race I want to recognize, and I hated it so much that I would remember, why am I doing this? I'm never ever gonna do this again. I always remember thinking this, specifically after crossing the finish line. I never got that high or rush. And I also grew up close to the beach where we had a path and my friends and I would sometimes run up and down, and I was the type that would say, you girls go out and run, I'm gonna walk, because I didn't want to slow them down and I didn't really like it. I also want to remember that my calves were hurting a lot and my breathing was so off and I felt like I couldn't breathe or do it, just run. I couldn't run. In 2022, I heavily took on my fitness game. I was going so hard at the gym. I was weightlifting so much, hitting insane PRs that I could never do nowadays because that was so much. I was very strict with my eating and my routines. I had my 5 or 6, 7 day split at the gym, so I was there putting in the work. Then in 2023, it's when I moved to Copenhagen and I was so shocked about how many people ran here, especially because I live in an area where it is very flat and there's lots of lakes to run around, so that's very nice and that made it very easy to think, maybe I need to start running again. And mind you that I was always using my PE shoes that I've had for the last 6-7 years, so they were busted. There were some Nikes, like very regular and mid shoes that people would use for PE. I was really content with my gym journey, how everything was going. However, I started a new job by then and that also meant that I was going to CrossFit with them as part of the job. We would go 3 times a week and we would do some heavy lifting. However, it was also with lots of conditioning, so I was doing lots of sprints and biking and laps and more kilometers running, and I realized that I was getting quite good, but never to a point where I thought I'm gonna buy running shoes and go out for a run on my own. However, I remember it was May 2023 and it was the marathon in Copenhagen and I was shopping at Veja Market, which is secondhand market here in Copenhagen, and I saw people running. I didn't even know that it was the marathon in Copenhagen, and I was really shook of the different profiles of people running, different heights and fitness level, and I was really like not shopping. I just stood out of the market and I was just watching, like blown away, like wow, like these people can run, and I got so inspired. And that's the day that I decided that I would buy my running shoes, which were the Hokas. These are the Hoka Clifton 9s. These were blowing up on TikTok and Instagram. Everyone had them. And I actually got a gait analysis test, which I highly recommend because shoes are so personal. I can tell you what works for me, but it might not work for you because you might have different needs that I don't have. However, it is true that there are some shoes that are an all-rounder, so usually work for everyone. I have a very neutral step, although I'm more of a heel striker, so I need something very cushioned. That's why I went with the Hokas. They are, I would say, a very good shoe for beginners if you're just starting, or you need an everyday shoe that is going to be comfortable and you're going to be able to do miles in. The heel drop of this one, I believe, is 5 centimeters, which is the height from the heel towards the toe, which is not pretty high, but back then it seemed like it was very high to me because I was coming from shoes that maybe had a 1 or 2 centimeter heel drop because they were just busted. The colors are also very cute, and this was my first pair, although not these ones, it was some previous ones that I gifted to my sister actually, and I had them for about 6 months up until I bought my second pair of shoes. So if you're getting started, you don't need more than 1 pair, you just need 1 pair. However, invest in a good one that is going to be good for you, so get a good analysis test because that will really change the game. Why I say that is because I used to struggle massively with shin splints, and that would be also the reason why I would not go out running. My shins would get so sore and I could not run, and the more you run, the worse they get. So if you have shin splints, take a break. But when I got these shoes, my shin splints disappeared and I was so happy. Some of the things that I also regret doing was trying to PB every time that I was going out and running. Mind you, I started running a few years back. I played football for quite some years and tennis, so my endurance was higher than if I was starting from scratch, if it makes sense. So I had a good fitness background, and during those times when my friends forced me to go running, I was doing 5 to 7Ks, although with lots of pain, and it was just not for me. However, when I started with CrossFit and the gym, I could maybe do a 10K to like 12K at a very slow pace though, but I was still doing it because I had built the endurance that it requires. I got so inspired with the marathon that made me start running that I decided that I would sign myself up for the same marathon, however, the next year, which was the marathon in 2024 that happened in May, and I already completed it, and that led me to buy a new pair of shoes, which these are the Adidas Boston 12s. I bought these for my faster runs and like intervals and tempo sessions. I saw these also everywhere, and I have a friend that really liked them, so I thought I would give them a go. And I also got a gait analysis test because I told them I want to buy a new pair to do my fast sessions in, and they recommended me these ones, the Boston 12s, and also the Saucony Endorphin Speed. However, the colors of these ones were just so pretty that just made me go for them. I probably did 2 or 3 runs, no, more. I think I did 4 or 5 runs in these ones, and my calves were hurting so much, and my Achilles, everything was hurting. But I kept telling myself that I had to be patient and break them in because they're quite stiff, and the heel is very, very firm as well. I tried to be patient, but I was training for the marathon, and I saw how I was close to getting injured, and I didn't want to jinx it, so I thought, I'm gonna stop using these ones, and I literally had to put these ones back into the box. It is a shame because some people love them, so I'm actually selling these ones. If you want them, just send me a DM. It made me quite frustrated because I thought that I had found a pair of shoe and I was gonna get faster and get better at, and that's also a mistake that I made when I started running. I thought that I would go out and step out the house and I would do a PB every single time, whether it was in distance or it was in pace, but that's just not realistic. I had to have a mindset shift, especially because once you run more and more, you're not gonna progress that fast. Maybe at the beginning, but you're gonna reach a point where you're gonna have to put in a lot more work to actually get better at. So for me, improving also means that you're stopping less or walking less, or also learning that one day it's best if you don't run. There's nothing wrong with walking. I actually do it a lot myself as well. Some days you just need to listen to your body and take it easy. Marathon training was going well, but I didn't have shoes for a speed session since the Bostons were not for me. So I decided to buy this Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s, and my life changed the moment that I bought these. They are one of the lightest shoes I've ever felt. The colors, I was not a fan, that's why I got the Bostons, but they actually grew on me. They are so light and comfortable and very cushioned, which is something that I look for in a shoe, especially because I'm a heel striker and my calves and like Achilles like really hard. So I got these ones. They are still very bouncy. I did the majority of my marathon training in these shoes, the long runs and the intervals or farlegs, and they are still in a very good condition, I would say. Also, when people ask me which shoe do you recommend, I always say the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s, but mind you that these ones have a nylon plate and you see like they can bend so easily, which also means that they help you or like propel you forward. They also come in a carbon plate. I'm not sure of the model, I believe it's the Pros. However, for the speed that I was reaching, this would be more helpful for me than carbon plated shoes. March came around and I got the opportunity to do a video shoot, which was super cool. And I also got gifted some shoes there because those were the shoes that I used for the campaign. Some of were these ones, which are the New Balances Fresh from 1080s, the V13 model. And I'm super happy with these ones. The experts actually say that these are one of the best daily trainers out there, and I can confirm it. They are also super light. They come in super cute colors. You can check it out for yourself. And they are bouncy, light, very cushioned and supportive, which is something that I also prefer personally. I haven't used these ones for that long, so they are like almost new, and I also popped them into the washing machine the other day. That's why they look quite clean, but now when I go out for my easy runs, I usually gravitate towards these ones or another pair that I'm gonna talk about in a few minutes. And after trying these ones, I don't grab on the hokas as much because these ones have a higher heel drop. I believe it's 8 millimeters. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put the details somewhere here. And this just feels better on my feet ever since trying them. Another huge favorite of mine for daily trainers are the Asics Nova Blast 4s, and I actually got this one sent by Asics, which is so cool, and never in my life thought that I would get a pair from Asics. But anyway, these ones also have a 8mm heel drop, which is the shoe that I usually gravitate on my easy runs, also because they are easy to combine and also come in very cute colors. They are super light and bouncy, and some people compare these ones to the Gel Nimbus 26, which I'm also going to show you in a second. However, these are usually lighter. I also like how the tongue feels. It's very thin and light and easy to pop in and out. It also has a very thin mesh here, which makes it super breathable and nice when you're out running. The Paris Olympic Games were recently around, and I got another pair by Asics, which are the Gel Nimbus that I was talking about. This is the 26th model. These, as I said, are a bit heavier than the Nova Blast 4s or the Fresh Foams that I talked about first. However, super cute and an amazing daily trainer. Currently, my everyday shoe rotation is the Gel Nimbus 26, Nova Blast 4, and Fresh Foams V13. Either or are amazing in my opinion. Very supportive, cushioned, and light. In terms of sizing, I got a 39, which is also what I have in all my other shoes I want to recognize, except for the Hokas that I have a 38 2/3. However, I prefer a 39 because your feet usually swells up a bit when you're running and also during summer with the heat. So always size up if you don't want your nails to bleed. End of April came around, which means tapering week, since I was running the marathon the 5th of May and I really wanted to buy a new pair of shoes to run the marathon in. As I said, I loved my Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s, and the 4s came out, so I thought, let me just buy them and run the race in a fresh new pair. it was not fresh because I did use them for my last long run of the marathon since it was 14 kilometers. And a lot of people were saying, don't run in fresh shoes, they're gonna hurt, you're gonna bleed, you're gonna get blisters. But I know that I didn't have to break in my Saucony Speed 3s, and it was the case with these ones. I never got any blisters, ran a full marathon with these, and I felt amazing. However, the difference with these ones and the 3s is that these ones are firmer than the 3s, especially on the heel, so a bit less cushioned. Although cushioned shoes are essential for me, and I never felt like these were rigid or anything like the Bostons, for example. And I do recognize that people mention that the Model 2 of the Speeds tend to be quite firm, but these ones are a combination of the second and the third model. Setting myself up for a goal as such really helped me during my running journey. Not that you have to sign up for a marathon, but I in fact wanted to sign up for a half marathon, the one in Copenhagen, but it was sold out and I was actually traveling, so I thought, what's the next race in Copenhagen? And it was the marathon, so that's what made me sign up for the marathon as well. But the key takeaways of setting yourself for a race or setting some goals is that it is going to help you structure your plans, and that's when I started working with the Ginger Club. Ever since I started working with the Ginger Club, and more specifically Candela, who is behind all of my program, who did the marathon training and is also helping me now train the Copenhagen Half Marathon, which is the one that I had to do and now I'm doing, but the following year, I have really seen an improvement because she structures my runs in a way that I have some easy runs. I do some speed sessions. In my case, they're usually farlegs with lots of changes of rhythms and speeds, and also a long run usually on the weekend. She also does it in a way that I have rest days in between and can also combine it with the gym, which is something that a lot of people don't do, is run without going to the gym, and that's when injuries happen. I want to knock on wood because I've never had an injury, despite at the beginning of my marathon training where my Achilles was really hurting and I had to take a 2-day break from running. But apart from that, I have strong legs, I go to the gym, I train upper body as well because it helps a lot with posture, but specifically my quads, it is important to have strong legs because your muscles will absorb part of the shock when you run. The only difference I would say with the gym now is that I don't have such a strict split with upper body, lower body, or like biceps, back, triceps, shoulders. Instead, I do more circuit training, so I usually train my whole body doing full body workouts because that also optimizes my time a lot, and it also prevents me from being too sore so that it affects my running. Because let me tell you, there's nothing worse than being super sore before a long run or a speed session. It's just not going to be the same. So the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4s are a big yes for me. I recognize that the pros are the ones with the carbon plate. I'm running the half marathon, which I believe this video will be already up by the time I run it. I don't know if I'm gonna PR it, but we'll see. But I'm planning on using these shoes, if not the Speed 3s. If you want to start running but you're not sure if you're going to stick to it, you don't want to invest money in a running shoe which you're only going to use for running, I highly recommend these vejas. I went to an event with them and I got these ones gifted. These are the Condor 3. I believe that they have Condor 2s as well and Condor like first or 1, I don't know. However, these ones are much lighter and so soft, bendable, also very cushioned and just very comfortable. And the reason why I'm saying that you should invest money in these ones is because I always take them with me when I'm traveling, because I use them both for walking and also for running. So it's like having that perfect shoe that you can use in the city since it's very aesthetic and it looks very cute. And I actually think that they came out with new colors. They come in black, like a multicolor, and other ones that they have released. But overall, very nice shoe. I lastly want to talk about these ones, which are also a shoe that I got at the photo shoot that I did. These are the Takumi Sen 10. I really like this shoe and I was a bit concerned when I saw them at the photo shoot because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to run in these ones that are like the Bostons that I just cannot run in because I'm gonna get injured. And mind you, that was before tapering week, so it was very close to the marathon day. But after trying them, I can say that they are much more cushioned and not as rigid. They are rigid but not as rigid as the Bostons, so they feel better on my calves. They are very fast and I really like these shoes. Actually, the fastest mile was run in this shoe, which is pretty cool. I usually use these ones for 5 to 7 kilometers, not for longer because then my calves start hurting and I need something something a bit more cushioned. But if I was doing a 5-kilometer race, I would most likely grab these ones. But again, I want to emphasize that what works for me does not work for you and vice versa. Always try to get a gait analysis so that they can recommend what's best for you. Here I conclude my shoe collection. Let's see which pair I get next. I'm not sure, but what about my running journey? I feel like I'm in a point right now where I'm not as fast or good or committed as I was when I was training for the marathon. I put so much effort and consistency in that training that I feel like my body was just exhausted after, and maybe I didn't give it enough time to relax and slow down and be off of a program, which is something that I recommend you doing, especially if you're not used to running or you have just completed a big race like the one that I did. I would love for you to stick around, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram to see what I'm up to and what my next goal will be like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!